Hello again, vinyl community, Matt here. So, as most of you will know, the Beatles White Album recently celebrated its 50th anniversary just 2 or 3 months ago. And through a combination of events that I won't go into, I actually have 3 copies of the White Album right here. Now, what I wanted to do was to do a listening test, a comparison, comparing several tracks. I can't do that due to copyright reasons. I thought that, fair use laws, I could play a 10 or 15 second clip. Can't even do that. I uploaded a test video to YouTube just with the audio on it. The longest I think was 14 seconds, somewhere only 10 or 11. Every single one, I got dinged on every single one. So that's not going to happen. That really sucks. But that's as I've said before, that's another topic for another day. But I have a little bit of a dilemma here because, I don't need 3 copies of the White Album. I only want to keep one of them. Which one do I keep? These all have pros and cons. Okay, now let me show you this one. Now this is a U.S. second pressing. It even has a serial number right here. It's not a particularly low serial number. It's like 1.2 million, but but it has a serial number which adds some value. It's a nice sounding record, despite being a US pressing, which they were notoriously inferior to the UK pressings. But the cons, conditioned, there's some seam splits starting to happen at the top. Ring wear, as you can see right here. It also skips right at the end of while my guitar gently weeps. So there's a skip. To my knowledge, it's the only skip on the album, but it is noticeable. And it's on one of my favorite songs on the album. I also have a 1995 UK pressing. Now, this is a DMM, a direct metal mastering pressing, which means, honestly, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I know that it's pressed into metal initially. And there, instead of, or I'm sorry, it's the groove is cut into metal, not pressed into metal, and instead of like vinyl lacquer, and so it's supposed to give better sonics. Now, out of the 3 that I have, this one sounds by far the best. It's a terrific sounding version of the White Album, it really is. However, the first record has a warp in it. Doesn't affect play. And in fact, if you were to listen to it, you probably would notice, but it's annoying. Like, I can see it. The stylus going up and down. It's annoying. It is. The third one I have is the recent 2012 remastered version. Now, this is the quietest version. In fact, it's literally the quietest, which really surprised me because this was sourced from digital. And I just figured it would be the loudest recording. It's not. It's by far quieter than the other 2. It's the cleanest sounding, but just because it's new vinyl, it doesn't have all the pops and crackles. But it's lifeless. It sounds muddy to me. It sounds compressed. It's by far the worst sounding of the 3. So that kind of sucks. And you guys can see the price tag of $36, and actually, I had a 15% discount, but it was still $30 even with the discount. And yeah, so that really sucks. So those are my 3 choices, assuming I don't go crazy and start looking for more copies online or something. But I think I've done enough of that. My gut tells me to keep the 95 DMM version of it. Despite the warp, it's the one I enjoy the most. It sounds fantastic. And if the warp does not affect play, can I live with it? That's the question. It's serious, because I don't regard myself as an audiophile, but maybe I'm a little bit OCD. I think we're all a little bit OCD to get into all this nonsense, right? If you've got to have a little bit of an addiction problem and a little bit of an issue with repetitiveness, keep going out and buying stuff. But seriously, it does annoy me a little bit, but that's the direction I'm leaning in. So what I would probably do is this came from Barnes & Noble. I'd probably try to return it on the grounds that I'm not satisfied with it, which is true. I'm not. I was actually shocked by how bad this sounded. Now, I'm comparing it to 2 other copies. I get it, including it's a second pressing, this one, so, a reasonably early pressing, which you would expect to sound pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. That's my little White Album dilemma right there. So yeah, pros and cons. Keep the warp, but get the better sound quality. This one is nice, well, nice and quiet, but sounds horribly muddy and compressed. But it's in mint condition. Actually, so is this one. Apart from the warp, this is really in nice condition. This one's in by far the worst. This is the one I would not keep, I think. Even though I like the sound of it, and I like the fact that it's got the serial, but yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? keep the one that sounds the best, right? Despite the warp. If the warp doesn't affect play, that's probably the way to go. Shit, I don't know. Yeah, there's the. See, you got this little bit of information here about the direct metal mastering. It's not going to focus, I don't suppose, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I got this recently too, and this wasn't cheap either. This was also $30-something, I think, off of eBay. Yeah, you can tell I'm like torn about it, right? Yeah, so I'm leaning towards keeping the DMM, the 1995 one. I listened not only to the vinyl, but I listened to the YouTube video because I uploaded the video. As long as I don't make it public, I can still listen to it, and I listened to it through headphones. And again, I was shocked by how bad the 2012 version sounded. I was like, it wasn't just the volume that's quieter. I mean, which it was, but the sound stage was narrower. You've got nice wide stereo with both the 68 and the 95 versions. This one just sounded muddy, compressed, and yeah, it wasn't a very enjoyable listening experience, which sucks because it's my favorite Beatles album and one of my favorite albums of all time. I had high hopes for that, I really did. And they did a terrific job with the other recent reissues, but most all of those were from the original analog tapes. This is not. This is from a digital source, 2009. It even says in the fine print, this album has been prepared using the 2009 digital remasters, which had been created from the original stereo analog master tapes. Well, I don't think they did a very good job on the remastering. Yeah. Especially if I didn't have anything else to compare it to, I would probably think it was okay, but alas, I do. So yeah. I would be interested to know if anyone else has had this kind of dilemma. Now, most people don't end up with 3 copies of an album, but you know what? Some of us do. And I've seen that, particularly people who are very into one particular band or artist. They collect all different pressings. Now, I don't do that. This is just my quest to try to find the white album for me, the white album of choice. And it sort of led me down this rabbit hole. But yeah. I'm thinking of just keeping the DMM and sucking up the warp. Yeah, anyway. I've rambled on for long enough. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. If you'd like to subscribe, please hit the subscribe button below. If you hit the bell icon, you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. And yeah, that's it. Till next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.